And welcome back to another episode of the Think Successfully Room. This is a platform where we talk about AI news and how it can bridge with your health and money. I am your host, QB So Effing Amazing, and this is Tiffany Ingram. And if you are not thinking about the future, you are already behind, you motherfuckers. Hey, Tiff, I'm trying. I'm trying something.
Hey, so the reason why I had to do that, y'all, this is my first time hearing it. All right, let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah. That was my first time saying a new intro on this, you know what I'm saying, live. I've been practicing it, but the more and more I say it, I'm gonna be able to put my own flavor to it, and I might switch up some things. But we gonna get it together though. So yeah, Tiff. So we got an interesting topic for the people. I think they gonna enjoy this one. So what if both me and Tiff told you all that there is a school, right, that's coming to Chicago, Illinois, I believe fall of 2026. The tuition,
Mm-hmm.
the cost is high, but it's a reason for it. So they talking about 55,000 a year for ages grades K through eighth grade.
8. Mm-hmm.
And your child wouldn't even need a real teacher. You know what I'm saying? Would you send your kids to a school where there is no teacher, right? So we're talking about a AI driven private school, right? That uses AI for instructions, right? Now they're not eliminating the jobs of the teachers, right? But instead of the teachers being there giving instructions, they will be more like people that's there to oversee the environment and more so for like emotional support, right? So they use AI to teach the kids, right? So how they have it set up
Mm-hmm.
is that in the morning time, the kids will use 2 hours, right? Learning different things using AI from
Mm-hmm.
reading to writing to math, maybe even science. And how they have it
Mm-hmm.
set up is that kids are being taught at their own pace, right? So if you remember when you were in school, everybody don't learn the same, right? You probably had a classmate that caught on to things a lot faster than you did. You know, you probably caught on to things a lot faster than your classmate did. And, before you know it, the teacher have moved on to the next topic and you still don't fully understand. So what this is doing is that the AI is allowing the kids to learn at their own pace for the first 2 hours of the day, right? So it's only going to go as fast as they can, and it doesn't move on until they understand what's happening in that particular topic, right? Now the interesting part is, right, is normally it would take 6 hours for them to learn these type of things in a given day, but they're able to get it done in 2, right? So for the rest of the day, they are engaging in different workshops,
Mm-hmm.
different projects where they could team up with one another, even entrepreneurial projects as well, right? Throughout the rest of the day. So this school is really set up to not only prepare them to become business owners and making sure they have the skills to build a brand, but it's also preparing them for the world of technology as well. Tiff, what's your thoughts on this on Alpha? I'm not sure if the Alpha schools. I'm not sure if I threw that name in there, but
School.
yeah. What's your
So a lot of things came to mind when I read them. So when you sent over the two articles, because you sent over one that had an actual station in Chicago covering it. And then the other one, I couldn't get to that one. But anyway, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that one.
mm,
But it caused me to go down this whole rabbit hole of searching and researching and really, really looking at this from a holistic view.
yeah.
And so here's the thing, right? Um, because when I first read it, it said AI driven schools, no teachers. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Mm,
Because again, it's challenging what we know to be our journey in this whole educational system. And so when it's explained that, hey, yeah, It's free of the traditional teacher um kind of model, but they have people there, like you stated, that will facilitate workshops, that'll be there for like emotional support.
Mhm.
Um they're there to manage their goals. So again, you have someone dedicated looking at the data based on your child's specialized learning plan, right? So I'm like, oh my God, like this is really changing the game.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. You hinted on the tuition costs. So 55K a year to send your kid to this school.
Lot.
And again, they're learning reading, math, science, all the things to include coding, entrepreneurship. So all the stuff that matters. They're not wasting time on learning the Constitution.
Mhm.
After I passed the Constitution test, nobody else asked me anything else about the Constitution. Why did I have to do that? Right? They're spending time or spending that tuition, though, the time that kids are in school and actually teaching them life skills that are relevant to the workplace
Mhm.
with using AI, especially with again how AI is designing how we do our work and where we do it. So again, now we're looking at something that could possibly, further that gap as it pertains to wealth. Those that have the money to access it will. It's typically not black and brown folks like us,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
What happens to the teachers? Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I went a step further and I looked at the roles at the school because I wanted to see. I'm like, how much are these people getting paid? What are the job titles? Because again, my background's in human resources and it just intrigued me. And so they're calling these folks. There are several positions, but the guides are the one that helps guide your children through again this whole journey of AI. And again, the workshops at the in the second half of the day. And these folks are getting paid a good six figures.
Mm.
Like the very entry level guide position is 100K. When we look at, the second level of a guide role, that's 200K.
Mhm.
Now, when you compare that to what these teachers are making in the Chicago public school system,
It
if
ain't. It
I were
ain't that.
them, I would. It's not that. So if I were them, and especially they're advertising that you do not have to have a teaching degree.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Now, for certain positions, they would like for you to have like a master's degree, or if there is a role that says kindergarten teacher, that yeah, you need to have a teaching degree, or some exposure with dealing with children. Like they have some clear guidelines and rules. But I'm like, what would it question me? I question myself to say, what would it look like if I worked there?
Yeah.
Like to actually see this happening. And so again, just getting back to your original question, there's so many thoughts. There's so many things around again access. Like what will happen to the kids that don't have access to this? What will happen if we see a bunch of teachers leaving the traditional education system to go and do this, right?
I didn't even think about that. I didn't think that deep about it now. When I seen the 55,000 a year, I was like, what immediately popped up in my head, it was like, man, it's a lot of people that don't even make that in a single year, let alone being
Mhm.
able to send
Mhm.
their kids to a school that costs 55K a year. Um, and as you mentioned as well, it's like, okay, if these campuses are a better opportunity for the teachers, right? And they really see a real opportunity transferring from like a public school going to like a private school like the Alpha schools.
Mhm.
Where does that leave the kids that's in those public schools if you have all those teachers wanting to move and try something different? I think my biggest issue with the 55K was that it's just it's one of those things where if you are in a family that don't have money,
Mhm.
those wealthy kids are the ones that's going to be able to access those
Mhm.
systems first, unfortunately. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
And I'm praying and I'm hoping that in the future they allow all kids to have an opportunity to engage with this new education model that's
Yeah.
happening because I feel like it's a game changer. My question for you is, Tiff, is that how do you feel? Because it is some relative. I mean, not relatives, but parents and other news analysts that think that this model would ruin their fundamentals, like being able to write. Do you even feel like that would be a
Mhm.
thing in the future? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that we can program AI to teach whatever we need it for it to teach.
Hmm.
So writing is important. We can program that your child performs writing, right? And they get that step by step assistance that they need to be able to do that. So I don't think, because when I listened to that person saying that, in that same article that you sent over, I was just like, but you can customize again. These children will have customizable plans.
Yeah,
Teachers aren't giving the freedom or the ability. We're measuring the effectiveness of teachers to an AI program where we haven't really given teachers the ability or the resources to provide customizable plans for their students. They're under so much pressure to teach and get certain scores and do certain things that they don't have time to say, okay, little Johnny's at this level. I need to do something special for him.
hmm,
Susie over here, they're at this specific level. I need to do something special. They're not given that same ability to be able to do that. So to measure the two against each other, it's not an even, or I would think it's not even a fair assessment. Number one, I want to go on the record and say that. Because again, teachers are bootstrapping and trying to provide the best experience for your children with little to no money, right?
absolutely.
Especially a new teacher. So I want to say that first. Um, but we can program the AI programs to do whatever we need for them to do.
Hmm.
Now, will writing even be a necessity? Right? Yeah, I need to know how to write my name, but will I though? I don't know what the future will
Well,
look like.
well,
Um,
also and not to cut you off, Tiff.
no, go ahead.
But I mean, they got rid of cursive. We need cursive. You know what I'm saying? We need. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, in the school system, they don't even teach you how to write your name in cursive no more. You know, and even to this
No.
day, when you go fill out I mean, signing anything, you need to. They don't even know how to write their name in cursive. You know what I'm saying? So eliminating. I feel like writing something that's simple, like the things they need to know. I feel like naturally they will learn how to write. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like this will just
Hmm.
completely
No.
just eliminate their
No.
ability to write, but eventually
No.
they'll know whether they being taught by a teacher or not. That's just something they will eventually learn. But I mean, at one point, cursive was necessary, and they took that out of the schools, right? So now it was more so um focusing on what's important. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the
Hmm.
fundamentals is not important, but it's not as important as them preparing for what's to come once they is out of school and on their own. And I'm glad to see it, as far as the teachers, maybe even the parents that's sending their kids to these schools, and I'm happy to see that they're seeing the importance of artificial intelligence, and whether
Hmm.
you agree with it or not. If technology is only it's evolving, if it was gonna die down, it would have been died down by now. You know what I'm saying? Like, arguably,
Yeah.
like this shit is here to stay, and you got to learn how to use it. So for them to give them a place where they can go, even the booths that they have while they at school, to be able to
Hmm.
interact with that AI, that's important. And I, like I said, I just hope that they figure something out to where every child will have the opportunity to interact with this new curriculum. So yeah.
Well, and I think we to there the education system, there needs to be an overhaul anyway,
Hmm.
to teach things that are more relevant,
Yeah.
that will truly help and prepare kids. It's sad to me to see kids graduating and they still can't read.
Yeah, that
We
is
know what
true.
happened.
And I
So
want
how is it
to.
no, go ahead.
Damn, my fault. It was lagging, so I ain't know if you was talking. But no, that's what I was going. That's what I was saying. Like how you said kids are graduating and they can't read, and that's I think arguably that has a lot to do with, he whoever that was, they've been having trouble reading. It's just the class, the curriculum was moving. It was moving too quick, and he couldn't catch up. Like, he
Mhm.
couldn't catch up as fast as the next person. So that's why I
Mhm.
feel like this is important, because they allowing them to go at their own pace. So when it's time to graduate or move on, you gonna have an understanding just like they have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? It ain't finna be,
Mhm.
oh, they get it and you still haven't got it. So the fact that they allowing them to go at their own pace to where it makes sense to them, that's what's important, because every child don't learn the same. So I think them being branched off into their own booths and allowing them to learn, and until they figure things out on their own without somebody pushing them, that was another part that was important to me as well. And
Well, and
yeah,
I
my
think
fault
too,
for cutting you off.
uh, I think too, it's the ability for it to accommodate where that child is and give that additional guidance or just space or resources to help them get it a lot faster.
Hmm.
Part of the problem is that children aren't given the time or the space or the additional resources in real time before a teacher has to move on to something else, right? Because it's a whole like process of, hey, in order to get this grant money, we have to do this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
And again, teachers aren't giving the time or the resources or the flexibility to do that in real time. This AI program will, okay, you're having an issue with reading at this level. Here's what I can do for you,
Yeah,
right? Creating things in real time to help. So I think it's again, I'm happy to see it, but there's a but to that, right? If the if the normal school system doesn't take a piece of this and integrate it and rethink the way that they're teaching, there's going to be a huge, again, wealth gap, bigger than it is now. And
absolutely.
something that you said too about cursive. Remember we used to do longhand division, right? You do longhand division, you did all your problems, you can work them through. Then you got a calculator. Now
Hmm.
calculators are on phones. People, I mean, at one point it was just like, okay, you have to buy this calculator. This is a part of your school supplies,
Hmm.
right? And now I don't even think students do like long form division anymore. You just put it in calculator. So it's the same thing.
Right,
It's the
right.
same thing. Things are being phased out as we advance. And it's just really we have to, as a society, yeah, this school is going to be cutting edge, and the kids that get in there early will have the upper hand advantage. But this is then a model that public schools, because what will happen is, okay, this is a private school, then other private schools will do it to be competitive,
Hmm.
right? And then you'll have public schools doing it after everybody else has done it,
Hmm.
right?
And my fault. Damn. Yeah, that shit. It was lagging. My fault. That shit was lagging like a motherfucker. Uh, I done lost my thoughts. So yeah. So you remember when we was in school, right? And I remember some math problems that was so long that shit took up like a page and a half just to get one
Okay.
answer. And
Hmm.
I used to question that all the time when I was in high school. I used to be like, man, why, man, we not trying to be no Albert Einstein. Why do we need to know this? Like, since I've been out of school, the only basic math I needed to know was how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply, how to divide, and I need to know my percentages, because you know what I'm saying, somebody
Hmm.
might be cheating me out some money. I need to
Hmm.
break down the
Hmm.
percentages. That was it though. I never been in a situation where I had to use a long equation like that. So them being so simplifying it anyway, like getting rid of things that was a waste of time, and getting in and just teaching them what they need to know, instead of what you think they need to know. Because like I
Hmm.
think I think for me, it was a lot of things in school I was doing that I didn't see a point in doing it. Like dissecting frogs and shit. Like, man, I'm talking about, we wasting a lot of time cutting open this goddamn frog, man. So them have it. I could be learning something else, man. And but I'm
Well,
happy with the way things is going. I do want to ask you this though. What do you think will matter the most in this AI driven world?
hmm.
Because I think they definitely. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I
'Cause I'm
definitely think
thinking.
they need to. I feel like they need something. I would say they would need to learn how to use the AIs like systems, right? Instead of just giving them prompts, but really conversing with the AIs and learning how they can use this AI with this AI and create an entire system to get a certain thing done. I feel like for me, the most important thing is learning or them being taught how to create systems with the AI instead of just feeding the AI prompts. Because when we think about machine learning, the AI, you get the most out of it when you able to converse with it. You know, so if you have a skill or if you good at anything, you being able to uh, uh, articulate that skill or speak on that skill and the AI learn who you is, now it becomes like an extension of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The average person, they have a prompt. And I heard somebody on the internet say this. If you say, how do you build a $12 million empire or a real estate empire, however you would word that, but you have never been in real estate. So you wouldn't even know the lingo if it did speak on real estate. So I think we will have to learn a skill, whatever that may be, and you being able to articulate that or explain that to the AI and allow those large language models to become an extension of you. If that
And I
makes
think
sense.
that no, it does. It does because I, where I was going to come from was from like maybe like a holistic view of the person. I
Hmm.
think you're going to have to be a strategical or strategic problem solver that can adapt quickly. And here's what I mean by that. Given the example that you just provided, right?
Hmm.
You want to build this empire, but you don't know anything about real estate. Now, if you're a strategic like problem solver, you're going to do some sort of research on the industry that you want to build this empire in, right? You can acknowledge that you don't know anything, but you can say, based on the limited knowledge I did, Google search, whatever it is, here's that information. You're going to know who the trendsetters are in that industry,
Yeah,
right? You're going to say, okay, here are the top 3 people because I did my research, right? Because again, strategically, anytime I enter into anything that I don't know, I have to research it. That's part of being a problem solver.
absolutely.
Um, and then you're going to say, you know, if you're really good at prompting, to your point, right? We don't want to spend all day prompting, doing one sentences and then one more sentence and one more sentence. It's okay, assume the appropriate role and the personas of these people, these top 3 people in this industry, right?
Hmm.
And tell me step by step as if I was a fifth grader, how I could build this empire and if it's even possible, given where I am today, right? So now you're taking the things that you've learned or picked up or acquired and saying, okay, now I can utilize AI to build a realistic plan. And I think that's the piece we're going to have to piece things together that
Yeah,
not aren't necessarily even AI. It's information that's out here and what we've learned and what we have access to, if it's other platforms, to say, okay, let me bring all of this to AI and have it help me generate something that's actionable.
hmm.
You know what I mean? Those are going to be the people that will win.
Well,
Your
excellent
problem
for sure.
solvers, those folks that can say, okay, here's the problem, here's the outcome that I want. I want this $12 billion plan. Okay, I got to do some type of research. You're very analytical, right? But you don't get caught in the weeds of things. So I think that's the skill a lot of people are going to have, and just the ability to pivot really quickly.
Yeah.
Because as things change, right, you can't get so stuck in, I was just doing this yesterday. Okay, that was yesterday. What do I need to do today? And that's where that being that strategic problem solver is going to come in.
Yeah, I think definitely as a starter, this is good. But eventually as they get, because I know they was trying to incorporate, all the way up to 12th grade. I don't know if certain campuses will
Mhm.
have that, but eventually they're going to, the higher grade you get, the more complex the class become. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So eventually when you get to, 10th, 11th, you know, or 12th, now the classes become more complex, and now you start using or learning how to use the AIs as a system and not just a tool where you just, add prompts. So
Mhm.
um definitely I think for me, so I just started using NotebookLM. Very, very
Oh,
fire. So with NotebookLM,
yes.
you could take multiple sources. You know what I'm saying? You could take a YouTube video, you could take an article, you may have notes and your PDF files or, Word or Pages, whatever you use, and you bring all those sources into Notebook, and it gathers all of that information and make it very concise, right? Because at the end of the day, it's so much information that it's hard for you to retain it. Like we talking about all of this, all of these sources, and you trying to retain all of it. But what if you took all those sources, brung it in no LM, and no LM uh, uh, scan all these sources and make it as concise as possible so that you can understand it. And what's even more fire about no LM is that it'll take that information and turn it into flashcards. It'll turn it into an
Mhm.
infograph, visuals, whatever you need to understand the information. It does it. So definitely learn how to use the tools to retain what you want to know, and then once you learn that skill or you understand that skill, then you begin to figure out, oh, okay, so Gemini is probably best at doing this. Okay, Grok is
Mhm.
best at doing this, and you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? What else? Chat GPT. I can use Chat GPT
It's
to
best.
Cloud Claw for
Yep.
this. And now you got a swarm of agents that's doing things in the background for you. Whatever that is. And you can get as complex as you want to get as long as you understand it. So
Yep. Yep.
this is I'm excited for this. Honestly, when they do finish up the one in Chicago, that would actually be fire if we were able to make it up there and be able to get an interview with one of those guys or whoever is the principal
In
or in
charge of it.
charge at the
Mhm.
facility, and really just take a look around. So Tiff, is there anything else you want to add on this topic?
No, I mean, again, I think we in previous episodes we've talked about how AI is showing up in the classrooms, and parents just understand, and even with the school, right? Their parents have to do their due diligence too. You can't just trust that the school is teaching your kids accurate information. Ask those appropriate questions about what AI is being used, how was it trained, all of the things, so you have confidence that the information that your children are learning is actual and factual and relevant information, right? And so I would just encourage parents just to get involved, ask the appropriate questions, understand how AI is showing up in your children's life, whether again private, public school, and just again keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in education, especially as it pertains to your children, and
Absolutely.
understand how that AI investment is going to or should positively impact your child, right?
Hmm.
If you guys are doing all of this, what should my child be able to do a lot better? So that's the parting advice that I would give. And one last thing, there was in the video that you had sent over to that in that article during that interview on that Chicago station, the lady was like, "Well, I don't have to worry about it because I don't have kids. I don't have to worry about the 55K tuition because I don't have children." And what I will say to that is that, even though I don't have children, I still worry about it because I want to understand what the generations that are coming behind me, what will happen with them. So that's it.